Hello, and welcome to today's webinar, Digital Logbooks, Replace Unwanted Multitasking with Focused Productivity. My name is Jen, and I am the Solutions Marketing Lead here at Tulip. I am joined today by my colleague, Nanad Dio, who is a pre-sales engineer lead for our life sciences customers. Tulip is helping companies equip their workforce with connected apps, leading to higher quality work, improved efficiency, and end-to-end traceability across operations. Today, we'll cover why manufacturers in the life sciences industry need to stop multitasking and start using connected digital workflows to augment and guide operators while ensuring quality and compliance. Multitasking doesn't work with logbooks. The main challenge we face with traditional logbook methods today is the heavy reliance on multitasking. For example, an operator may need to follow an SOP, be required to adjust equipment settings, and then record their activity and any deviations that occurred. This approach not only hinders productivity, but also makes the process more susceptible to errors that can compromise the overall quality of your products. Whenever your operators switch between reading work instructions, executing tasks, and documenting a result, you pay a tax. The second it takes to find a pen or manually fill in a form adds up, and as a result, efficiency suffers and valuable resources are wasted. When operators are juggling multiple activities, the likelihood of overlooking critical details or making mistakes increases substantially. From illegible handwriting to missed entries, those errors can have severe consequences, leading to compliance issues and compromising data integrity. Incomplete or inaccurate entries can hinder traceability, audits, and inspection, jeopardizing the overall quality of the process. To overcome these challenges, we must shift and embrace a streamlined approach where your operators only need to use a single interface to improve productivity, reduce errors, and increase traceability throughout your operations. Now, what should you be looking for in a digital logbook solution to streamline your experience? Start with a user-friendly interface. By making it easy for operators to navigate and perform tasks efficiently, you'll be able to minimize learning curves, reduce the chance of errors, and accelerate adoption. Your digital logbook should also integrate with your processes. Task switching between reading SOPs, executing tasks, and documenting information is a nightmare. It's even more complicated when you have to enter information in your ERP, QMS, CMMS, or IMS. You need one solution that you can connect to everything so that you can save time by reducing manual data entry, improving data accuracy and consistency, and enhancing data analysis. Lastly, you want to ensure your logbooks enable real-time production visibility. You'll be able to address quality issues more promptly and proactively, enable better collaboration and communication across teams and sites, and empower decision-making to scale and adapt your operations to a rapidly evolving market. Now I'd like to hand it off to my colleague, Nanad, who will give a demonstration of logbooks using Tulip.
Hi, my name is Nanad Dio, and I'll be walking you through our logbook applications today. I have two different types of applications that I'll be navigating through using my navigation app. One would be for a QA engineer or a manager on the shop floor. The other one would be for the end user executing this logbook on the equipment itself. So let's dive into the equipment logbook app. So the moment I actually select that app, the application is also designed to identify if I'm trained on this process. If I'm not trained on this process, the application will not let me move on to the next step. So I'm going to change the user. I'm going to log in as my operator. And once I log in, I'll be back on a navigation page. If I'm trained on the process, the application will let me move on to the next step. On the next step, the application is designed in such a way that you are able to scan equipment, or I can even go in and select this equipment from a list of equipments, and this can come from your backend system as well. So I'm going to select the laminar flow hood that I'm in front of. I'm going to go in and start my logbook execution. Here I have 4 different logs that I need to capture. One is the temperature itself, so I can go in and configure these logs in a way that would make sense for my operations and collect the required data by my organization and the application itself. So on this specific app, I have an image that's telling the operator what he needs to do. You can go in and embed all kinds of rich media into these applications, images, videos, PDF files, giving the right information to the operator at the right time. I can also integrate with sensors on the shop floor and capture data directly from these sensors and feed them into my logbook. So if I go in and feed in some data that's outside of a threshold, the application will be able to capture this data as well and inform the end user that, hey, you are outside of a threshold, so an exception was generated. So you can create logic that would go in and ensure that the operators are doing the right things and capturing the right amount of data. Next, I'm going to go and capture some comments and followed by some work instructions as well. So you can design and configure these applications the way you want them. So on the cleaning process, I have an SOP that will guide the operator through the work instructions that are required. I can also use device cameras to capture evidences of these actions being performed. I can also have acknowledgements so that I know exactly what happened, who worked on it, when did they complete this process. So once I capture this image, I can move on to the next step. On the next step, I need to capture signatures. Tulip is 21 CFR Part 11 compliant, so we can capture as many e-signatures as you want. So I'm going to go and capture that e-signature. I can see the data that I'm going to be signing off on as well. I can go and configure the application to capture reasons behind this signature dynamically too. Once I sign off on it, I can see the data that I just collected, and I can go in and provide my e-signature. And this can be username and password, but for this demo, we are just using badge IDs. Once I sign off on it, I'll be able to submit this log. The logbook fields are empty. That means I've done executing this logbook, and the application will take me back to the previous step. Next, I'm going to change my role. I'm going to log in as a plant manager or a supervisor. So I can go in and start analyzing this. But of course, just like the previous app, I can ensure that only authorized users are able to go in and view this data. So again, I'm going to log in as a manager onto this application. Once I'm in, I'll be able to go in and create dashboards that will give me real-time information about what's really happening on the shop floor. The kind of exceptions that are happening, how many exceptions are open, how many of them have been closed. I can create Pareto charts that can give me severity information about these exceptions. I can see these open events as well. As a plan manager, I can also dive into the kind of executions that are happening on the shop floor, number of logs that are being captured, number of equipments that are being worked on, or the amount of time it's taking to execute a specific logbook process. I can also dive deeper into my equipments and start reviewing them personally. So on the right hand side, I can have the history record of all the actions that have been performed. I can go in and filter all of this data as well. So if I want to go in and change the date ranges, I can go ahead and do that. I can also go in and view quality events in details. So I can see exactly what happened, who did what at what point of time. So I can see this exception was created by Jose Perez. The owner of this exception is Ninad, and I can also see at what point of the execution of this process this exception was raised. As a quality engineer, I can have multiple options. I can change the event, I can change the statuses of these events, I can change the severity, I can assign these events to different people, or I can even go in and close out these events, and it completely depends on how you want to go in and handle your exceptions. I'm just showing you an example of how this can be done. Once I close off on this, of course, I need to provide my e-signature as well. Just like previously, we are able to see the data that I'm going to be signing off on, and I'm going to provide my badge ID to sign off, but this would be username and password on the shop floor. And with that, this was the logbook application showing you information about which ones have exceptions captured around them, and thank you for watching.
Thanks, Anand, for the amazing demo. To showcase the value of Tulip logbooks, we have a couple case studies that we want to share with you. A multinational pharmaceutical manufacturer faced challenges in their weight and dispense operations, batch records, and lab notebooks. They were heavily reliant on paper trails, leading to high maintenance costs and low visibility. To address these issues, they embraced Tulip's paperless ecosystem. This transition empowered them to secure, access, and trace their data effortlessly, all while generating real-time reports. As a result, they experienced a remarkable 50 to 80% improvement in changeover times, optimizing their productivity and efficiency. Training times were also reduced by 40 to 60%. They were also able to ensure compliance due to error-proofing workflows and having the ability to review by exception. Another multinational pharmaceutical manufacturer faced significant challenges with their paper-based logbooks. Each logbook required a painstaking 2 hours per month to review, and the lack of searchability made data retrieval an arduous and time-consuming task. In just a matter of weeks, our digital logbook solution revolutionized their operations. Information became streamlined and deviations were significantly reduced through built-in quality checks. This transition led to an annual savings of $60,000. Part of the savings come from reducing compliance errors by 95%, ensuring adherence to regulations and enhancing data integrity. Another significant part of their savings come from a 40% decrease in time spent on equipment logbooks, freeing up valuable resources for other critical tasks. Thank you all for joining us today. If you're eager to see our product in action, head to our website at tulip.co and schedule a demo with us. Our team is ready to provide a personalized walkthrough tailored to your specific needs. If you still have questions, watch our newest case study with Unlimited tomorrow and see how they use Tulip to be agile, error-proof workflows, and ensure compliance with digital records. Thank you so much for attending. Please stay tuned for the question and answer session. Hello, and welcome to the Q&A session of the presentation. So we have some questions here that are coming in. So first question for you, Ninad, are what are some of the advantages of using Tulip for digital logbooks?
Yeah, that's a great question, right? Like, so by going digital, you're actually improving the efficiency, you're reducing the number of errors on the shop floor. You are creating data integrity around this process by pulling in data electronically from devices, from entries, from scans, and so on. We also we can also use these data points in different parts of the processes. So if a equipment logbook data has been captured, I can use that with my EBR application, with my EDHR applications. So you're able to share data across different processes pretty easily. Yeah, those are definitely few of the advantages. Differentiatings also include having like seamless integrations with equipment on the shop floor, sharing this data with backend systems since you're capturing this data digitally.
Awesome. And then can multiple users access and update the same digital logbook simultaneously?
Yeah, definitely. Like all of our applications can be accessed by multiple users. They can go in and update logs for these equipments. Yeah, like so. For example, in the demo, I showed an example of an operator and as a QA engineer. I can also have applications designed in a way that QA engineers are able to go in and provide their reviews while I'm executing the logbook apps as well. So yeah, definitely.
Let's see. And then can logbook data be exported to an EBR?
Yeah, yeah. As I said, right, like since you're capturing this data digitally, using a common data model behind these applications, we are able to share this data across different parts of the process. So when for example, if I'm doing a weighing and dispensing process, I'm executing that, I need to go in and identify the equipment that I'll be using, if it's clean or not. I can use those statuses to not only capture the data as part of EBR, but also dynamically drive workflows based on these statuses.
And then how about connecting to third-party systems? And then also, what if my system is on-prem and not cloud?
Yeah, so we have something called connectors framework as part of our platform, and we are able to use these connectors to push and pull data between Tulip platform and backend systems. So we have SQL connector to connect to SQL databases. We have HTTP connector to use API endpoints to push and pull data. And we also have a OPC UA connector that can be used to communicate with equipments as well. So using these connector frameworks, we'll be able to update backend systems, update ERP systems based on the customer's requirement.
Okay, and then I guess connected is how does Tulip connect to equipment?
Yeah, that's a great question too. So we have a couple of different options for that. Like first of all, of course, if it's a PLC on the shop floor and it's on the network, we'll be able to communicate with it using our OPC UA connector. We also have Tulip Edge devices. Tulip Edge devices provide connectivity on the shop floor as well, so you can communicate with temperature, humidity sensors. You can communicate with scales and so on the equipment on the shop floor itself. And we also provide a low-code GUI interface called Node-RED, where customers can go in and create their own drivers for their own equipments as well.
Okay. And just a reminder to the folks listening in, so you can ask questions in the chat on the right side of the screen. So feel free to do that anytime. And just a few more questions here. So are digital logbooks secure, and how is that data protected?
Yeah, all of the data is always encrypted on the platform. It's encrypted in transit at rest. Um, we um, we have backups that are done daily on all of our platform as well. So there's data integrity, there's security. As the whole platform itself, right? Like security is provided for the whole platform. It's not just about logbooks versus non-logbooks. So we take quality and security pretty seriously here at Tulip. We do work with regulated industries, and it's important for us to have data security as part of the platform itself.
So I have a question here. What operation system, Mac OS or Windows, is required to run your program?
Yeah, that's a great question. So Tulip Player, which is the end user interface, it's completely device agnostic. So you can run this on mobile phones, on tablets, on iOS, Android devices, Windows devices. We also have wearable support too. So you can have augmented reality headsets, realware headsets with our platform, and you can use those too.
Okay. And then how long does it take to transition from paper-based logbooks to digital logbooks?
Yeah, that's a great question, right? Like, so it really depends on the complexity of the logbooks itself, but all of our customers have access to our library of applications, and they'll be able to go in and use these templates that are available on the library as the starting point for them. So they don't have to start from scratch. So you already get a baseline to go in and create applications on. So collecting sorry just a second, guys.
We need your fingerprint.
Right, like, so you don't have to start from scratch. As I was saying, customers are able to go in and digitize logbooks in matter of days, if not weeks and months. Again, yeah, it depends on the complexity of the logbook.
Okay. And some questions from folks listening in. So are there on-premise options where the data and information is held on our company servers and managed instead of external external resources?
Yeah, so Tulip is a SaaS platform. We do not actually have an on-premise option, but using our connectors framework, we can push this data to a data lake. So you can have your own storage in your own infrastructure. So by using SQL connectors or API endpoints, we'll be able to push this data to any kind of on-premise backend system that you might have.
And then do you have specific use cases where operators, leaders, and process and QA engineers use Tulip to replace traditional production boards production?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, like that is definitely part of the platform as well. Analytics plays a big role in our platform. So we can definitely go in and create a real-time analytics dashboard that will give you visibility about what's really happening on the shop floor.
Perfect. So I think that's all the questions that we have today, or well, coming in today. But feel free to continue asking questions in this stream, and we'll be monitoring those for the next day or so, so we can answer those questions. But thank you so much for attending, and hope you have a good rest of your day.
Thank you so much.